there, horror fans, and welcome back to another episode of Curtis Review. Today we're discussing a cult classic, Ginger Snaps, a film where menstruation meets lycanthropy. Ginger Snaps is a testament to how much exceptional writing can elevate a film. The director set out to make a B-movie that ended up being so much more. This film is a unique blend of horror and dark humor, and we're going to break down exactly why it's a pitch-perfect black comedy.
Prepare!
Because we're about to bite into those succulent, satirical little bits. First off, let's set the scene. Ginger Snaps is a year 2000 Canadian horror film directed by John Fawcett. It centers around two sisters, Ginger and Brigitte Fitzgerald, who are obsessed with death and have a pact to die together. This morbid fascination leads them into some seriously dark territory when Ginger is bitten by a werewolf. The film takes these somber themes and adds a twisted sense of humor to create a darkly comedic narrative. What makes Ginger Snaps a pitch-perfect black comedy are the dark humor elements infused throughout the film. From the witty, snarky dialogue to the absurd situations the girls get into, it's packed with moments that'll keep you laughing and kind of cringing at the same time. For example, the film uses the horror movie trope of dealing with puberty as a metaphor for lycanthropy, which leads to some hilarious and uncomfortable scenes. One key aspect that contributes to the film's dark humor is brilliant character development. Emily Perkins and Katharine Isabelle, who play Brigitte and Ginger, deliver outstanding performances. You will immediately become attached to their quirky, gothic personalities, and I couldn't help but root for them even while they were embracing their more monstrous tendencies. The sisters' dynamic is the heart of this movie, and their banter and chemistry provide some of the most amusing and heartfelt moments of the film. Ginger Snaps also excels at subverting audience expectations in more ways than one. After getting bit, Ginger literally flips the script on Jason, taking charge sexually in the car with him, leaving him shaken, scratched up, kind of disturbed. In most coming-of-age or horror film instances like this, the young man would emerge triumphant, talking shit with his friends, acting like he's the cock of the walk, but that doesn't really happen here with Ginger. She kind of takes advantage of this guy. She is lustful, bloodthirsty. And now his body is changing too, for better or for worse. And not only that, but because they had unprotected sex, the curse has been passed on to Jason as well. Additionally, it's atypical for a monster movie to not have the monster die by the end. In this case, the monster is one of our main characters, and their death is not triumphant. Tears welled in my eyes as I watched Brigitte holding and cradling her sister's newly metamorphed lichen body, and there was no cathartic victory to be had here. The cure was too late. It was fumbled, and there was no saving Ginger. The pessimism is effervescent throughout this movie, and other than its coming-of-age puberty tale woven in, perhaps its most bold messaging. Teenagers in the mainstream were at a crossroads when this film was in development.
The investigation into the high school massacre is slow-moving and dangerous. The two gunmen who went on the rampage booby-trapped the building and even themselves.
Columbine and other mass shootings had taken place or were taking place. It wasn't easy to sell a movie about violent teenagers in the film industry at this point in time. But even that feeling and tone seeps into you while you watch the movie, even if you're not aware of it. And this is aided by the location, lighting, and visual style that John Fawcett and crew implement throughout the film. It really helps create a feeling of fear, foreboding, and doom that I haven't seen done in a movie, or at least not like this before. And this really lends itself well to what it feels like to be a teenager, figuring out your body and learning the ways that it will change itself against your own will is frightening. When you think about it, becoming a teenager is kind of the ultimate and longest running body horror tale, and it's always happening throughout the world. 2000 wasn't the 1950s. Greater knowledge and widespread sharing of women's experiences and feminism was still burgeoning in that time. Patriarchy has a way of stifling expression, especially female expression, and the movie acts under so many pretenses and layers that even the way the movie looks and flows is indicative of a greater symbolic meaning. The yellowish gray hue of the movie, slanted camera angles, and the dingy dark dwelling that the two girls live in, all really nail in the message. Man, it is really hard to be a teenager. For 2000, a movie with this strong of a feminist slant is impressive and has really aged well. Karen Walton's excellent writing abilities are fully on display here, and part of what makes Ginger Snaps more than just a werewolf movie. It's a testament to the film's black comedy elements, and it keeps the audience engaged and amused throughout its runtime. The dialogue doesn't just serve the plot, it's a character in and of itself, adding depth and texture to the story.
How do you feel? Wicked.
While watching Ginger Snaps, I got really wrapped up in trying to notice and find all of the references to menstruation, and it is packed with these. Monkshood is referenced and used in the film as a cure for lycanthropy, and it's also a perennial plant, which means it comes and goes during the various seasons. Menstruation and periods work in cycles, such as ovulation, the follicular phase, and the luteal phase. Brigitte and Ginger's mother is even seen bringing in a flat of flowers in the trunk of their van. The full moon is an obvious allusion to menstrual cycles, but it is worth mentioning in regards to the lore of werewolves. Second, the hilarious and brilliant reference to Ginger's first bleed, referred to as the curse. I was dying laughing when this happened. And then this moment gets further amplified when, right as that bleeding happens, moments later, Ginger is attacked by this monster and hauled off into the woods. Next, the woods are an interesting device to utilize here, as they symbolize not just beauty and growth, but also mystery, intrigue, and the unknown. What really is puberty for a child but that, the unknown? No amount of books or awkward chats of the birds and the bees with your parents can prepare you for what puberty has in store for you. The constant erections, blood rushing from between your legs, or the lustful urge to jump the next hottie you see walking down the hallway. Ginger being pulled into the woods only to become forever changed is so succulently symbolic. Then, after Ginger's mom finds her blood-stained underwear, she presents Ginger with a celebratory, drippy, oozy, red strawberry cake. And their mother in particular is always offering them sweets, chocolates, things to help soothe them through their puberty, their mood swings, the kinds of things that happen to young women at this age. Lastly, Brigitte is given the impression by her sister that Sam, the weed dealer come apothecary, because everyone knows that weed dealers are also herbalists, right, is a cherry hound. The subtext is decadent here. A cherry is obviously a reference to the phrase popping your cherry, which refers to losing your virginity or having your sexual debut. Cherries themselves are juicy, fruity treats that have a hidden seed underneath their juicy flesh. And then of course we have the tying of the cherry stem trope that we see in a lot of rom-coms and horror movies of this era. But then to add the word hound next to that, insinuating that Sam has a potentially monstrous and sexual intention towards Brigitte is so funny, kind of disturbing, and satisfying to watch unfold on screen. The film's visual style plays a significant role in its black comedy appeal. The dark and gothic atmosphere, paired with its well-executed practical effects, adds to the film's quirky charm. Some of the gore and violence is so over the top that it becomes oddly amusing, contributing again to the perfect blend of humor and horror. It reminded me a lot of the director Bernard Rose's visual style, specifically in regards to his movie Paperhouse. If you haven't picked up on this already, there is some incredibly smart filmmaking going on here in Ginger Snaps. The visual cues to other movies is readily apparent. The aforementioned Bernard Rose movies, Harold and Maude's jet black romantic comedy, as well as the Universal monster movie Illusions. The movie feels classic and like it hasn't aged a day. You could really see A24 doing an adaptation of a movie like this in 2023, and there are even rumblings now of a TV series of Ginger Snaps in the works.
Fatality.
For those who haven't seen the movie Raw, directed by Julia Ducournau, I have to think she took a huge influence from Ginger Snaps when making Raw. It is so strikingly similar, with two sisters discovering their bodies, carrying the generational pain of being a woman, and fighting against the repression of the patriarchy. Not only that, but Ginger Snaps is somewhat in the vein of Michael Haneke's Winking Funny Games, as the movie sometimes feels self-referential and kind of meta. One of my favorite lines is when Bridget asks Ginger, "Don't you think our deaths should be a little bit more than cheap entertainment?" Almost like they know we're watching them on screen and seeing how their journey unfolds. The last thing I'll add, because I could truly go on and on about all the things I appreciate about this movie, is the emphasis on family. Specifically the relationship and bond of these two sisters. I understand siblings and their relationships. I have a brother, but I can't truly understand what it would mean to have a sister and to be a sister. But I do know that that relationship is important and formative to the lives of these young women on screen and other young women out there. Bridget and Ginger in the beginning of the movie both swear to each other that they'll never change, they'll never grow up, that they will be there for each other until the very end. They hate everyone and everything, but they love each other more than anything. But B soon realizes that she is fighting the inevitable. No matter what, Ginger is going to defy that. This strongly highlights not just how the patriarchy turns women against each other, but how in general family members can become pitted against each other, even when one or the other or both have the best interests at heart. Bridget's sadness at the end of the movie is palpable and strongly felt, because even though she knows that she can continue to resist that real change happening to Ginger and her own body, the change happened anyway, and now for what? She has lost her sister for good, at least that's the implication, and dealt with so much trouble, and at the end of the day, we'll do anything for our siblings. My relationship with my brother is stronger than it's ever been before in my life. Do we argue and disagree about things from time to time? Yes. Our relationship has been rocky in the past. Even during those times, we've always had each other's back. Bridget would literally die for Ginger, no matter what it takes. She loves her so, so much. It makes so much sense as the movie goes on, the lengths that Bridget goes to save her sister. But there's also that horror that comes with watching her become something that she could never imagine. But there's also the horror of Bridget having to watch her sister become what they both vowed they would never do. This happens not just with siblings, but with friends too. People change. Change is out of our control and natural, and that is so damn scary to people. Adding in the werewolf element here is just a smart writing device, because it further emphasizes that the changes of puberty and menstruation are out of our control. The only thing we can really do is try to understand the person, love them, and give them the space they need to grow. In conclusion, Ginger Snaps has aged so gracefully for various reasons, including its timeless themes, strong character development, subversion of tropes, enduring dark comedy, incredible practical effects, and a dedicated cult following. It remains a classic that can be enjoyed by old fans and new audiences alike. What are your thoughts on Ginger Snaps? Has it aged well, and does it hold up today? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more film discussion right here on this channel. Thanks for joining us. I hope you don't find any unwanted hair on your body this Halloween season, and if you do, don't look at the full moon. And until next time, peace.
Oh my god, Boo. I was out getting something in the car. Something bit me. I don't know what it was, but I'm really scared. It really hurts.
Okay. Oh my god. What the? Something really got you. Hey Boo, I was in here Googling dog bites, and I think yours looks pretty Oh my god. What are you... Whoa. What happened to you? Ah! Ah! Are you eating a rat? 911. Yeah. Yeah, my name's Jay Curtis. Yeah, my girlfriend, she's acting really erratic, and I'm not sure what to do. Yeah, I don't know what's going wrong with her, but she's been acting crazy. I think something's really wrong. Oh my god!